Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Bandy Kiki, the unapologetic African lesbian and entrepreneur. Today I'm going to be talking to you about signs that you are in a toxic lesbian relationship. Now I understand that no relationship is perfect. However, some relationships are just bad for your mental and physical well-being. Some of these signs, you've already seen them or recognized them in your relationship, but you're hoping that this person will change. You don't want to be alone. You're afraid of being single. Believe you me, being single is not that bad. I know because I'm single and I'm very much happy. Being single is time for you to date yourself, get to know yourself better, and even just recognize the things that you want out of a relationship. So I'm going to go on to read the signs or to tell you guys the signs. Bear in mind that they're not in any particular order, and please do take them seriously. So if you see me looking down, I'm just looking down at my notes just to make sure that I cover everything that I wrote to cover in this video. So the first sign that you are in a toxic relationship, which is something that should be obvious, is abuse. Okay, physical and mental abuse. She punches you today and she says, "Oh darling, I'm so sorry." Believe you me, people who are abusive, mentally and physically abusive, they know how to apologize. They know how to charm the pants off you with their apologies. But these things shouldn't be happening. And I also understand that there is the shame that comes with being in a same-sex abusive relationship, things that we don't want to acknowledge or talk about with our friends. Please, you shouldn't be at the receiving end of this. If she punches you today, probably she's done it again the second time. She's probably done it again the third time. And she's told you that, oh, she's sorry, it's because of this, she was dealing with this, or made it seem like it was your fault that you got punched. Please, work out of that relationship. It's not good for you. If she's mentally abusive, saying things that put you down, please work out of that relationship. It is not good for you. Okay? The next sign that you are in an abusive relationship is when you're constantly fighting. Now, I'm not talking about somebody probably leaving a wet towel on the bed, or maybe dirty dishes in the sink. You know, those little annoying things that happen when you're in a relationship. I'm talking about constant screaming matches, you guys calling each other names, saying awful things to each other. If you are in that sort of relationship, that is not what a relationship should be like. Please do consider leaving, because that is extremely, extremely toxic. And the next sign that you are in a toxic relationship is when she constantly puts you down. Now, your partner should be your cheerleader. Your partner should be the one making you feel all hyped and good and beautiful and intelligent and loving. You know, your partner should make you feel good about yourself. But if she's constantly putting you down, your ideas are never good enough, you are never good enough, then you should consider leaving, because this toxic trait, it affects all areas of your life. Believe you me, the next thing before you know it, you're at work, you're unable to share your ideas because you think, you know what, they're not good enough. My partner thinks they're not good enough. Your self-esteem is on zero because of these things. That somebody that you love so much, that you feel that you should feel so close to, is putting you down all the time. It's extremely, extremely toxic. The next sign that you are in a toxic relationship is the fact that there are unnecessary lies in the relationship. You see, when somebody constantly lies about small things, okay, it's always a big tell, because you're thinking, are there other bigger things she's lying about? Okay, and if you're thinking that, then there are these things. Intuition can be a very strong thing, believe you me. If somebody's lying about small things that they shouldn't lie about, believe you me, there are bigger things that they're lying about that you don't know about. Okay, so yes, that is a toxic trait, and you should maybe have a conversation about it, or if it's something that is happening repeatedly in combination with other traits that I'm going to list out, or that I've already listed out, then you should consider leaving that relationship. Again, like I said, being single is not that bad. In fact, being single, when you're single, that's when you're in the right place to find somebody who is good for you. So the next sign that you are in a toxic relationship is when you're constantly walking on eggshell in the relationship. You don't know what to say, because what you're saying might result into a punch, or into verbal abuse, or into insults, or into a screaming match. if you are in that sort of relationship where you can't express yourself freely, then it is toxic. It is. Believe you me, it is. Again, like I said at the beginning, no relationship is perfect, but some relationships are just mentally and physically damaging for you, and you shouldn't be in them. And the next sign that you are in a toxic lesbian relationship is when she isolates you from your support system. Isolating you by making sure that you don't hang out with your friends, you don't hang out with your family, you don't hang out with people who generally support you or listen to you. That is a toxic relationship. And generally people who are abusive are very good in doing this because they don't want people to recognize those signs for you, because you probably love them so much that you're blind or you're ignoring them. But people who are around you who love you as much as who love you or care about you will be able to recognize these signs. And people who are generally abusive don't like this. They like to isolate you from your support system so that they can abuse you. And the next sign that you are in a toxic relationship is if you are the one that is always showing up in the relationship. You're the one that is loving in the relationship. You're the one who is compromising in the relationship all the time. You're the one that plans the surprises in the relationship. Now, I understand that sometimes we are in a relationship where financially some people are doing better and others are not. You understand? But it's not always about money. You can tell somebody has good intentions by the things they do, but how they show up in the relationship. Okay? So yeah, if you are in a relationship that's one-sided, please, it is toxic, and that is not how relationships should be. Okay? The next sign that you are in a toxic relationship is when your partner is very clear. My way or the highway. Okay? Things always have to go their way. If they don't go their way, you end up not doing anything. If you plan probably a trip or you're trying to go to a restaurant, and they're like, oh, it needs to be this restaurant. If it's not this restaurant, we're not going anywhere. And it's always them. It's always about them. It's never about you. It's always about them. If you are in that sort of relationship, please do consider leaving, because it's not good for you. You should be with somebody who listens to you, respects your own ideas, and shows up, you understand, ready to do the things that you want to do, not the things that they want to do. Okay? The next sign that you are in a toxic lesbian relationship is when the person you are in a relationship with doesn't see you. Now, let me tell you something. Seeing you, I'm not saying to seeing you as in physically seeing you, but being able to recognize when you're sad, being able to see when you're happy, being able to recognize when you need them. It's difficult to explain, but there's something that happens when somebody is able to tell you're unhappy, is able to tell you need them, even before you verbalize it, especially when you live together. There's something so magical about that. Imagine living with somebody that you're going through a depressive moment and they can't even see that. They can't see that you're not yourself. Okay? They can't recognize that you're not happy. It is extremely, extremely toxic. If you're with that person, and it might not be their fault, probably don't care enough about you to see you. Or probably some of them, sometimes people are dealing with their own things. But if it's been a constant thing in the relationship, please do consider leaving or have a conversation about this. Okay? So the next sign that you are in a toxic lesbian relationship is when there is toxic masculinity within the relationship. Now, I've seen this play out most of the times when there is a masculine representing woman within the relationship, or when there is what some people generally call a star. Now, let me give you examples of this. For example, when you're trying to get her to be more emotionally present in the relationship, and she's like, I'm a stud, or, I'm a whatever, we don't do that. There are dishes that need to be washed, there's food that needs to be cooked, and she's like, I'm a stud, I don't clean. I'm a stud, I don't do dishes. Now, bear in mind that there's a difference between somebody who don't like doing dishes. I don't like doing dishes. And there's a difference between somebody who doesn't like cooking and somebody who doesn't want to do cooking simply because they are masculine representing, or simply, you know what I mean, and some of you who have been in heterosexual relationships have seen these toxic traits in men. Okay, so yeah, if that is happening in your relationship, it's extremely toxic, and you should have conversations about this, or leave the relationship and find somebody who is more emotionally present or would do the things that you want done in a relationship. And the last sign that you are in a toxic lesbian relationship is when you're changing yourself to make them happy. You are changing your basic foundation, to make them happy. You find yourself changing. You're wearing things that you normally don't want to wear, or you don't feel comfortable in them. You are speaking about things or speaking in a way that is not normally you. These signs here, they might be very subtle, but they can be very telling about the sort of environment that you are in and how you're not yourself. Okay, so if you're changing yourself in any way that you feel like it's not naturally you or fundamentally you, please do have a conversation about it. Sit down and have a conversation with yourself first, and probably with your partner. And if things don't change, maybe you should leave that relationship. Again, like I said, being single is not that bad. You can be happy single. There are a lot of people like myself who are happy single. Okay? Anyways, guys, if you've enjoyed these signs that you are in a toxic lesbian relationship, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Share this video with a friend. Tell your friend about this channel. Okay, this channel is all about you and I discussing issues that affect us on a daily. Until next time, bye.